Welcome to the Good Karma Sportfishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about chasing down fish. And, we're getting into billfish season as far as sailfish goes, using live bait, wahoo fishing with live bait, small reels, light line, catching them on kites, catching them on downriggers, catching them on flat lines. So what happens is when you're catching fish on light tackle like that with when your reels are really small, you're going to have to chase down some fish. So I'm going to provide you guys with a couple tips. So before I get into the fishing tips, I want to thank those guys that supported the Good Karma Sportfishing Podcast by purchasing the Reef Course. So the Reef Course, I'm releasing it in parts 1, 2, and 3. And I had an early buy for those that wanted to get in on the grouper bonus. And I just released the grouper bonus, I think, last week. I talked about it briefly. And along with that, the grouper bonus, I released the Picking Your Days video, okay? The Picking Your Days video walks you through exactly when to go fishing, okay? It lets you in on the secret to why these guys constantly put up fish that don't fish very often because they pick their days and they pick their tides. So I give you that secret, and I show you exactly how to do it, made easy. So I got some reviews in from guys that purchased the course, and they're very happy. It's awesome with the bonus. The bonus is what a lot of people wanted with the black grouper bonus. And Doug from Palm Beach, and he fishes down here as well. He goes, it's the absolute best nuts and bolts grouper tutorial that he's ever seen. So there you go. So I'm finishing up part 2. And the ebook is done, and then I'm getting ready to do some audio as far as going through the ebook and then drop the nugget bombs on you guys. Within part 2, I show you fishing charts as far as from Garmin's, and I think it doesn't matter if you have a fishing chart, then I show you exactly what you need to look for as far as the areas go and why. Okay, so I show you some underwater graphics as well as far as why they're so good, and I walk you through Pickles Reef on this tutorial. So if you're really if you're coming down here and you want to learn, you're going to get it in part 2 as far as chumming secrets. I just walk you through what I do, and I drop a really major nugget bomb in there as far as a secret as well. All right, so that's all I want to talk about as far as part 2. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to drop that next week, and then I'm going to start working on part 3, and that's the on the water stuff. So I'm going to share some anchoring secrets on how to do some certain things as well, and then I'll show you grouper bombing, how I do it, and then how yellowtail, just some secrets with that. So as far as some tricks, and then, yeah. So that's all I'm going to talk about with that. But once part 3 gets released, the grouper bonus goes away. So that's how it works. So next week is once part 2 gets released, the grouper bonus will still be part of it. But once I drop part 3, then that won't be, the grouper bonus is vanished, gone. Yes, no more. So, and yeah, so that's where I'm at. Guys, let's talk about chasing down fish. I often get asked about, when do I chase down a fish? I chase down fish a lot, especially nowadays, because there's just a lot of obstacles out there. There's a lot of crab pots, and I've saved so many wahoo that have wrapped themselves up in crab pots because I basically just dumped the spool. And then, because I knew he was wrapped up, and then I made the turn, went back at him, and he was already wrapped up and suffocated in the crab pot line and died. So, and we got the wahoo. So that happens quite often, actually, because there's just a lot of shit that's going on out there. You got a lot of boats, and sometimes you just got to make that decision to chase fish. And hey, it is what it is. So it sucks, but especially when you're chasing down a foul-hooked wahoo that's like in the side. We've had that. I have that happen to me at least 3 to 4 times a year, and that sucks. Foul-hooked sailfish, that sucks even worse, especially when they wrap the tail, and it's like you got a small circle hook in its tail, and he's like dumping line. So yes, you will have to chase down fish. If you don't, you're going to lose a lot of fish to obstacles out there, or other guys are going to cut you off. It's just the way it works out there now. So you just got to fish more aggressively, meaning that you have to chase the fish down. So what do? Basically that fish, I don't mess with the drag once the fish he's dumping the line. And guys, if you're fishing wahoo at strike, I'm fishing them 10 to 15 pounds of drag off of in strike. So, and you all know, and I've talked about this before, and everybody's like, it's been driven home into you. The more he takes the line, there's a lot of drag in the water. So the last thing you want to do is push up on that drag while that fish is taking off. You actually want to when he's running like that, you actually want to take it down a couple notches. So then that's what we do on the Good Karma. We'll back it off just a smidge. So 10 pound, I'll go down maybe a couple, just a couple clicks on the reel lever, but not a lot, just enough to back off just a little bit, especially if I think he's foul hooked. So I'll just let him go, and we, got plenty of line capacity, very important. And then I'll say, we got to get him. Everybody jumps on a rod. I don't care how the rod comes in. I don't get all torqued up about somebody not reeling it in right. I'm just not like that when it comes to getting the rods in. The rods get set in a place where I know that they're not going to be damaged. And then we go, and everything gets cleared first, and then we go get the fish. So I turn the boat, and what I do is I approach the fish. It's like I run at the fish at a 90-degree angle, okay? Very important. I try to get like at a 90-degree angle, and then I run at the fish. I got the angler on the rod, and we're off to the races, okay? So that's the first step. So I'm just like, okay, we get everything cleared. I'd say don't mess with the drag. Don't mess with the drag. Just let the fish dump. And by the time, we're going to get that line back really quick because you're using 2-speed reels, and we just chase them down. So everything's out. Everything's clear. I say, let's go get him. I put the angler right beside me because I want to see where he's at along the rail. And just depending on what side we're going at the fish, you always got to, I tell the fish, always square up. Never try to fight him across the boat. So whichever side that the fish is moving to, the angler is there, whether that be on the port or starboard side. But I like to have that angler in the front of the boat and sitting down on a cooler sometimes. So if it's nice and if he has good balance, we'll do that. But otherwise, he's going to be right there beside me in case I need to grab the rod to help the angler. So we've caught several blue marlin doing this and off the small boats, and it's just how you have to do it. Plenty of sailfish. And the sailfish are a good one to practice on. So just saying. We've caught wahoo on spinning rods doing this. So yeah. So anyways, we're heading at the fish. We're doing, at a 90-degree angle. Best thing to do. And then we go after him. Okay. So everything's cleared, I said. And here we go. Also, too, make sure those outriggers are, out of the way as well, too. So you don't need to, like I tell people, don't worry about I tell people, hey, you're on the reel. You just got to do what the captain tells you to do. But if you're the one that's like the captain, you just know that don't have them push up that drag while that fish is dumping. Okay, so we're chasing him. So once you chase that fish, then shit gets a little tricky here. So because as you're moving the boat at a 90-degree angle towards the fish, you're going to start getting the line back. And the hardest part is keeping the line tight because your boat's moving really quick. And because of this happening, you're moving forward and you're trying to get the angler to reel. And sometimes that gets to be a little difficult for the angler to get the line back. So what I do is I have the angler bump the drag up a couple pounds. So that's going to help get that line back on the spool a little faster. And help get that belly out of the line. You got to keep the line tight. That's the trick. So reel. And do it if you want the fish. So we just keep moving at the fish, 90 degrees, and then before you know it, you're going to be lined up with them. And just know that stuff happens. I've seen fish come back at you and do all sorts of weird stuff. You just do your best, okay? I'm just trying to help you out with a few tips, and this is what I do, okay? So what may work for me may not work for you, but it's worked for me for several years. And I said we've caught and landed blue marlin doing this on light tackle, and we got him in pretty quickly. I caught a blue marlin by myself doing this. I chased him down, and I got the release pretty quickly. So while I was driving the boat, so I was chasing him down. And, I've done it several times, actually, with wahoo and stuff. So it just works for me. That's why I'm sharing this with you guys. Okay, so like I said, you got to get the belly out of the line. You bump the drag, have the angler bump the drag up, but you got to keep an eye on him so he doesn't get all crazy and put that. Sometimes people, their adrenaline's racing so much, they're nervous that you have to make sure that they put that up like 2 pounds and not all the way to full strike, okay? Because if he did that, you're screwed. So you got to be really you got to babysit. Unfortunately, that's how it rolls. So, so as soon as the line comes up, it'll come up at an angle. It's hard, guys. So just know this. If the angler's having problems, then the angler has to fess it up and don't be a hero. Okay. I tell people, are you okay? Are you okay? Do I need to help? And that's where I'll help. Okay. I'll step in. I'll show them. I'll get everything situated, and then we'll go back to it. But I really stay in tune with the angler and what's going on. Now, what happens for me, I can only I can only run forward and then move that boat so far towards that fish, and then I gotta spin him back around and get on him. So, and then it gets to be kind of crazy because more than likely, if he's foul hooked, he's gonna sound. If he's hooked in the head, that's even worse, or tail. So I try to keep the fish on the surface as much as I can. I want to keep as much line on the reel. It just gets to be. It can get to be kind of hectic, to be honest with you. As you can tell my voice, it's something I don't like to do, but I do it a lot, unfortunately. Now, the angler, all he has to do, man, is just make sure he reels as fast as he can, and he's putting the line back on the reel nice, okay? You don't want that. I always try to keep my reels. I don't fill them full because during the heat of the battle, I've had anglers that don't wrap it up and that don't wind the line back, and it can get to be kind of I've had fish pop off doing that because I couldn't get to the reel fast enough. So I've just learned I pay very close attention to what's going on. So, and once you get close to that fish, especially a billfish, he's gonna jump. So when you get back lined up with the fish and he's under the boat, that's when you need to back off the drag again and go back down to the 10 pounds. And sometimes I'll back off even more. And if you get into the dog fight and you got a 2-speed reel, you just got to put the reel in low speed and just crank him up, okay? And the fish is going to do circles because he's going to chase the bubble trail. And yeah, so that's another topic for another time. So I do my best, okay? I know that line is really close to the surface. I want the fish to stay on the surface so I can follow him and get up on him quickly. And then just make sure the line gets loaded back up. And then once I get back on him, I get back lined up. And then I try to keep the fish away from the boat. And yeah, so that's kind of it in a nutshell. So you got to get the belly out of the line. You got to punch up the drag a little bit. That's the trick. You get the drag punched up, you can get that line back up really quick. And you just got to have the angler has to know that it's going to be super intense to get it back. And if you can't do it, then sometimes you got to step in. And if you're fighting a fish and by yourself, which I do a lot of this by myself, is that I'll just drive the boat. I'll get a 90-degree angle. I've caught many big dolphin by myself doing this. I just basically reel, get tight, 90 degrees, get lined back up with the fish, and then if he sounds on me, I fight him in low speed and bring him up really slow. But remember, you have to back off on that drag the closer you get to the boat because he's going to go ballistic on you once he sees the bubbles of the engine in the boat. So that's all I got for today, guys. I hope everybody has a great weekend. To all that served, my father is a Vietnam veteran, and he was on what I call the Apocalypse Now boats. If you've ever seen Apocalypse Now and he's going down the jungle, that's the type of shit that he did. And he never talks about it, but sometimes he would. And I have to tell you what, I have a lot of respect for Vietnam veterans. All vets that served. My grandfather served in World War II. He was on boats that were sank, torpedoed, and he sat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean in the middle of the night. And so I want to really stress that I support the military 1,000%. So God bless you guys. I can't thank you enough from Melinda and I's hearts. We think about you guys every day. So God bless you guys, and God bless America. Thank you guys for tuning in, and remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.